Thank you very much. I just want to start out with, it's a little bit of a statement, and I wanted to direct it to you, Ms. Witkowski, regarding a conversation I had with the Hug family, whose son, Jake, died in that tragic crash. They were obviously upset by his passing, but they were further upset because in some dialogue that they had with the bereavement folks that they're working with within the Department of Navy, kind of told them off the record that while if their son had been killed in combat, that they would be afforded the opportunity and the full support of our country to go to the Dover ceremony, but and the funding that goes along with that, so that his parents could go to that extremely important vigil for them. But they were told that there's kind of a double standard. If you're killed in a mission like this, a search and rescue mission, it's not considered combat, and that they wouldn't be covered to go. Now, I've first reached out to Mac Thornberry, the chairman of Armed Services. He was pretty upset by that. I don't think the American people would understand that at all, much less the family of the hero. But I know that we've reached out to the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus, and I believe in my heart he will do the right thing. So would you please pass that on, that we're expecting good things?
I will absolutely do that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A question I have is regarding getting the actual food and different emergency provisions to the people of Nepal. I understand there are some complications, and I'm told that it's regarding the rules of cargo preferences, and that 50% of the U.S. government cargo has got to be transported on U.S. flagged vessels, and is that the reason that the estimates in taking this pre-positioned food shipped from Colombo to Calcutta and then overland to Nepal, that it could take 45 to 60 days? Is that why this is happening? And if so, are there some concessions we can make to speed that up? Mr. Stahl.
Thank you, Chairman Salmon. That's an important question. Let me clarify. First of all, what we were able to do, there was food pre-positioned already in Nepal.
Right.
So that got things out.
That was obviously quick.
Okay. And then also we were able to use IDA funds that, with the flexibility provided us by Congress, to allow WFP to buy food locally, like within northern India and nearby, to get some food going very quickly. So the food that's coming in from Sri Lanka, you know, it doesn't need to be there within days. It's okay that the timing will then sort of refill the pipeline and provide for needs over the next few months. So it didn't delay any of our food aid. I want to clarify that to begin with. Then secondly, regarding the cargo preference, I mean, that's a more complicated question, but in the case of a really dire emergency like that, the cargo preference rule is a little more generic. I mean, we do have the 50%, but it's not just on every individual shipment. It can be generalized. So that doesn't really hold us up on this particular issue.
Okay, so we can look for every effort to expedite as that we possibly can.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Great. Another question I have is regarding the local government, the Nepal government, and their reaction. Obviously, they've got to take a leading role in the response efforts. Could you please discuss the role of the government of Nepal in leading the response to this disaster, and describe the structure of its disaster response mechanism, and how would you assess their strengths and their weaknesses of their response, and with some of the fears regarding government corruption, what, if any, measures are in place or plan to address corruption with the relief effort underway? Ms. Biswell.
Thank you. Let me provide some initial comments and then invite my colleague John Stivers as well if he wants to weigh in. Clearly, there is an issue in terms of the capacity of the government of Nepal on the bigger challenge of long-term relief and recovery. In the initial relief phase, the Nepalese military has played a critical role in deploying their forces across all of the affected districts and in coordinating and assisting in the delivery of relief. And I think that they have performed admirably. They have interfaced extremely well with our military and our civilian forces, and we have had little complaint in terms of the efficacy of this effort in light of the magnitude of the disaster that we were facing. There is an issue in terms of how the longer-term effort will be coordinated. Nepal has a National Planning Commission, and we are working with the Planning Commission. We are working with the Home Ministry and with the Finance Ministry. It's a time when the picture is still evolving in terms of what is going to be the most effective way for Nepal to coordinate the longer-term efforts, and they are thinking through that. There's a team that is in Kathmandu from India's National Disaster Management Agency to provide technical assistance. We've also worked with our Pakistani colleagues because General Nadeem, who oversaw the Pakistan earthquake response and reconstruction, and who has been very lauded globally for the transparency and the efficacy of the response that he oversaw, has also been brought in under USAID's leadership to come in and help provide some assessment and some assistance in terms of how Nepal can think about managing its relief going forward. This is a country that is still coalescing in terms of its democratic institutions and institutions of government. So it's going to require the persistence and the partnership of the international community in supporting them in their efforts to manage a recovery effort. We want them to succeed. We don't want to take it over from them, but we want them to succeed, and there will be an element of partnership over the coming months in helping them get this right.
Thank you. There's no question that governance is a major challenge in Nepal. Institutionally, it's difficult for the government to deliver basic services, enforce building codes, etc. The parties haven't come together in terms of a constitution. They haven't had local elections yet, which is a major challenge when it comes to the relief and long-term recovery effort. We continue to help them try to work together on all these issues and make sure that, and we need to make sure, the international community needs to make sure that the long-term recovery takes into account how we can build Nepal's capacity to not only to better withstand natural disasters, but also to move forward and come out of their fragile democratic stage to consolidate their democracy.
Thank you very much. Ms. Meng.